thank you for sparing some of your time to help me on my studies at University of Guyana on my course Language Education. My study title, Home Language in Guyana. Before we proceed into our actual interview, I would like you to introduce yourself briefly.
Sure, sir. Well, first of all, my name is Shabana Bojda. I am a teacher at Nova Primary. I am also a literacy committee member attached to a few schools in Region 5. And I'll be happy to help you with your questions.
Thank you, Miss. And I appreciate your kindness. So I will go straight into the question. And the question is, do you think that the language spoken at home should be used in classroom instruction and interaction?
Okay, so we're talking about Creoles because in most cases we would have students speaking their own mother tongue language at home. And first off, I would say yes. Why yes? Because using Creole in the classroom helps students understand the lessons better, whereby in most cases, while being a teacher explaining in Creole, the children would more grasp the concept. Because if you're to speak in standard English, in most cases people don't, but sometimes you use your standard English and the children, they don't understand what you're saying. So you have to get down to the level where they're at in order for them to understand what you're saying. It also makes learning easier and more meaningful.
So, Miss, I would agree with you. And you feel when these children are allowed to speak the way they do at home, they will feel more comfortable and at home in their school environment.
Correct.
Yes, and it's also beneficial because the children are literally learning two languages. Because in most cases, teachers would go to promote standard English in classroom. So the teachers or we as educators should give space and accommodate children who are accustomed to speak their Creolese language at home and give them some recognition in the class so they can able to put over themselves meaningfully and communicate effectively in their way. So in Guyana, do you think the home language spoken by children should be used in the classroom during interaction and instructional period?
Yes. Obviously yes, I would say yes, because a child's home language plays a very important role in helping them learn to read and write. When teachers uses the language that children already know, it makes it easier for them to interact and so on. It also using the home language help them build more confidence. Students feel proud that somebody's acknowledging them. Also, let's not forget, in this way, home language strengthens both literacy development and overall understanding for, let us say, those children in the early grade. They would more have a better understanding. They would know, okay, well, somebody is there to understand what they're trying to say as the little ones as they go by. For me, children can connect what they learn at school to what they already understand at home. So that's basically.
I remember a few years back, there were some classroom, there was a little notice on the chalkboard or on the screens written, "We speak standard English in this class." Do you think that little message was being fair enough to children from varying backgrounds?
Definitely not. No.
I would agree with you on that one because being a teacher for many years, children would communicate certain ways and the culture, their religious background and all of those things plays a part. Some children have their ways of calling their mother's brother Mamu, which is like more Indian, which means my mother brother, and their grandmother, their mother Nani, which is their grandmother. So that's that habit, or that's what they learn at home, they bring it in school. So you as a teacher, if you're conversating or you're teaching and they use those terms, you can be able to know the level of communication and what message the children or the child is trying to convey or pass on.
That's bringing in culture also.
Yes.
Yes. This is child's culture to speak in those terms. You can't just tell them, okay, nanny or nana is wrong.
Absolutely correct.
That you have to say grandmother and grandfather. You have to allow them, blend in with them with your culture.
That's true. Can children, what benefits can children gain when teacher incorporate home language into teaching and learning?
Well, it helps them to understand the instructions better while explaining. It also helps them make learning more easier and fun for them, because remember, teachers will be heading down to the level of the child there. So the child will better understand. If you could explain this concept in Creole where this child can understand it, it will be better for them. So
Yes, I would also agree with the benefits. The children is going to feel accepted.
they will also be able to speak and share their
Fluently.
ideas
Excellent.
more fluently without any worry or anything of the sort.
Okay, Miss, I would like to ask you a final question. I know that time is of the essence, but I would like to know, how can home language support senior literacy personnel? I would like to know, how can the home language support literacy development and understanding in early grades?
Okay, like I said before, going down to that, speaking that Creole with these little children as they grow up, it helps them to be a bit more motivated, a bit more enthusiastic. They would want to share their ideas. They would want to answer you. If you were to speak in standard English with these children, I don't think anybody really knows to speak standard English, because English has lots of rules and so on. However, speaking their language with them helps them to actually incorporate and would want to reply and respond and use your instructions and so on, and they would definitely want to give it their all, because you cannot change a child's perspective. You cannot tell them, well, you know what, you have to come here and you have to change your mother tongue language. Your mother tongue language is your tradition, your culture, your way of life. So you cannot just change it. You need to go to their level and adapt to it in order for them to get what you're trying to teach, all the concepts you're trying to teach. So basically, you're incorporating with them using their mother tongue language, and it helps in the classroom.
Thanks, Miss. Would you support, like, in literacy development for teachers and educators to make resources available, like for example, charts, and you can put in group, like the Creole term and the English term. Make those charts available so children can see one word or one Creole spoken word, what it means in English. Like for example, abdies. And basically it means like us or we. We can have the Creole part, abdies here, and the other part, it means we. Do you think those kind of aids and so will help in literacy development?
It can, but let me give you a little story. I know times of the essence as well. marking compositions, I would notice that there's some children that write the way they speak.
Yeah.
So they would tend to write in Creole, and you can't say that's wrong either. You still have to give them. So I don't think they should change it or anything. That once the reader could read and understand what they're trying to say, they should at least give them the marks or so. But what you are saying is basically teaching them to move from Creole to English, isn't that so?
In a sense, yes and no. But what I'm saying, in classroom, you would have children from varied backgrounds. Some may be fluent in Creolese, which would be their typical home language. But then you may have a child from a different environment, which would be able to speak like about 75% standard English. So if my whole culture, I am into this Creolese setting, and the 60% of the way I speak is Creolese. If we have a child who is more into standard, they would probably have a little. I can remember on one visit to New York, I was with my cousin. He is also Guyanese, so he has like some Americans who works for him. So we were in his vehicle one day and we were talking. We were speaking Creolese, Guyanese Creolese language, but these American guys could not figure out what we were talking. And they sat there and listened to us all along the journey. When we reached the work site, one of the guys came to my cousin and he said, I don't understand what you guys were talking. Was that English? And we laughed. It was English. It has some English and some Creolese in between, but they could not have understood it. Anyway, miss, I want to thank you for sharing some interesting points with me, and it will indeed make my study and my course and my assignments a very fruitful one. Thank you for the time, and have a rewarding rest of the day.